Hi there. This is a rather light but useful lesson that addresses a need for local storage of data, such as if you want to save the high score of a game, a note, or say a grocery list, which example we will use to demonstrate the use of a local storage on the phone. So since we want to keep a grocery list on our phone, we need to set an option to add and also to remove items from the list, and we want to have the current list displayed. Naturally, since the name itself states that we're creating a list, we will use list components. The current list will be displayed under the list view component, while to remove items from the list, we'll be using the ListPicker component that we named remove. If you're unfamiliar with any of these, you can always go back and check the two lessons on the app Inventor lists from before. As we need to add a single item to the list at the time, we will do that by clicking the Add button after the item name is entered in the input text box. We also added a hint for this entry. The last item that is missing is the local storage component that is called TinyDB, which is here under the storage, right here, which also has its web component counterpart when data needs to be available to different users. As we bring the TinyDB in, here what you'll notice, that this component is actually non-visible as it's displayed under this screen in the designer window. Okay, so we're ready to build the blocks for this app. To save us time, what we're going to do is that we're going to play this coding at 3 times the speed, and after it is done, we will explain every step of that code. So as we've seen, there's not much to it, right? The first thing is we create a global variable groceries list. We initialize it as an empty list. And then what we do, since when we start the app, we may already have something in storage under our groceries. So we're going to pull up those values. So when the app starts and the screen initializes, we're going to set this grocery list variable to whatever we read from our storage. So this is the call TinyDB1 get value. So we're calling a storage. Under the tag groceries, we set this tag by ourselves. As we learned so far, most of the data storage goes in pairs. So there's a label and then there's a value, right? So the label that we set for ourselves here is groceries, and the value is essentially a list of groceries. If there is nothing there, we're just gonna create empty list, and we're going to be displaying empty list at the beginning. Otherwise, we're going to show whatever is already stored under the groceries. This is how we do this, right? We set our list view elements to this variable groceries list, and we also set the ListPicker to the same set of items, because this is where we're going to go and delete the ones that we don't need anymore. Okay, so this is the first event handler when everything initializes. The second one is when we want to add items to our list. So we said we're going to input it in the box and we're going to click the add button. And this is our event handler. When we click the add button, what do we want to do? We want to add this item to the list, our running list groceries list. We're going to add the item that is input in this text box. So from the text box, we read the actual text. We add it to our list. And then we call our storage, and we under the same label, under the same tag, we replace our stored list with the updated list with this extra item. And of course, we update also our list view and the list picker as well, and delete whatever was entered as it's already stored. We don't need any more to display it in the text box, and we're ready for the next input and so on. So we can just keep adding items to the list, and we'll immediately see them in the list view. And the last, very last action that we want to be able to do, we want to be able to delete items from the list. This is where the list picker comes in handy. What we're going to do, we're going to go to the list picker and basically select the item that we want to delete. This is our event handler. When this is pressed after picking in this list, in the list picker, what we want to do, we want to remove from this same list, groceries list, the item that is at the index that is picked at the list picker, that is marked by our finger, right, if we're selecting it. And immediately as this is done, we want to update in our view what we see in the list, and we're also going to update what is in our list picker once the item is removed. And the last step we want to do, we want to update also stored values. So we're going to go to storage under the same tag and update our grocery list without the item that we just removed. And again, we can just keep repeating and removing as many items as we wish. And this is pretty much the whole code that we have. So this is it. The last step is to demonstrate how this app works. So note that we use the AI companion on the phone instead of the emulator, and the phone is directly mirrored here on the laptop screen. As stated at startup, the app first pulls whatever is already stored on the phone under the label groceries. And so this is basically our list from before that is left on the phone, right? So when we're creating a new list, this is what used to be our old list, and we can likely proceed first to remove what we do not need anymore, right, when we create this new list. So what we would do, we would go to this remove button right here, click on it, select what we want to remove. So let's say we don't need any more radishes, right? So let's click on the radish. It's immediately removed from our list, as you can see on the screen. Let's say we don't need any more tomatoes either, so we're going to click on tomatoes, remove tomatoes, and you get the idea. We can keep removing until the list is empty, basically, if we want. The other thing is we want to add to the list, right? So now let's say we have a hint here, right? Enter grocery. So we're going to click. We always need bread, right? So let's say we need bread. Click the button add, and it's going to be immediately added to the list. We also need milk, right? So milk, add to the list, and so on. You get the idea again. You can just keep adding as many items as you want. Any change you made, you saw it's immediately stored on your phone. So this current list that is displayed is also at the same time stored. So if we leave the app and we come back later, load the app, it's going to give us whatever was our left stored list the last time we used it, and then we can proceed in the same manner I just shown here. Okay, very simple, fun, but also useful app for a list of groceries or any other list that you may wish to make. And this is it for now. Until the next time.